Hello, everyone, and welcome to a series of pre-event speaker interviews in the run-up to our World Hydrogen North America Congress. This is taking place in Houston this year from the 31st of March till the 2nd of April. My name is Dominic Coyne. I'm the program director, and I'm pleased to welcome Dr. Kate McAteer. Kate is Vice Chancellor for Academic and Student Affairs at Washington State Tri-Cities universities, with a Bachelor of Science in Biological Chemistry from Ulster University and a PhD from the University of South Carolina. Kate has extensive academic background. She has held various roles, including Assistant Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs and Postdoctoral Fellow in Structural Biology at the Pacific Northwest National Laboratory. In addition to overseeing academic operations at Washington State University Tri-Cities, she is the principal investigator for the TRIO Student Support Services grant, which is helping low-income first-generation and students with disabilities succeed. Kate's contributions to teaching were recognized with the President's Distinguished Teaching Award in 2015, and she's completed leadership programs such as the Washington State University Provost Leadership Academy and the HERS Institute. Kate is also the Community Benefits Lead for the Pacific Northwest Hydrogen Hub. Thank you for joining us today, Kate. Welcome.
Thanks, Dominic. We're happy to be here.
Good to have you here. So just to kick things off for this interview, would you be able to give the audience a bit more of background on your interest in the hydrogen space in general and our event?
Sure. So as you mentioned, I work at Washington State University Tri-Cities. It's a small campus located in Richland, Washington, and a very STEM rich community with a large focus on clean energy, development and education. And we recently established the Institute for Northwest Energy Futures on the campus. So with that focus on energy, and then my work in serving and developing programs to ensure that underserved students, first-generation students, are prepared for the workforce in this region. The two really came together when the Pacific Northwest Hydrogen Hub was being developed and looking for someone to lead the community benefits program.
Great. Thank you. I will be asking you a bit more about the community benefit side a bit later. But just building on that, I mean, this is one of the topics you're going to be joining us on in the masterclass. We have a lovely panel with a very strong lineup from all different areas, looking at multi-stakeholder strategies for hydrogen community success. Would you be able to tell us a bit more about that and perhaps build on the work that you're doing with the hub and how that builds on your academic experience?
So workforce development is a major focus of the Hydrogen Hub program. With these, in addition to the workforce for construction of the industries, there's also operations and what those jobs are going to be to really sustain a hydrogen workforce into the future. So in my work at the university, it's really important to not just be looking at kind of the programs that we will have for the future, right, in operations, but obviously then working with the two-year programs and the unions on workforce for construction, and then actually even going further back into the K-12 system and how are we preparing students to learn about hydrogen and clean energy, all the way into getting into high school where we're maybe giving them opportunities for pre-apprenticeships or pre-internships. There's a lot of work, I'd say, going on right now to really identify what those jobs will be, and then how do we best prepare our students and students throughout the country actually to be ready to enter the workforce.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like a tricky one, trying to predict what the future needs will be. But I'm curious to know, are there specific disciplines that are going to be more highly desired than others going forward, do you think, or where there's a real gap that you're focusing on?
Yeah, so in terms of construction, I would say in my conversations with labor, they feel they have they have the apprenticeships in place, um, um, with obviously some additional training specifically around hydrogen. And then as we move into operations, what we're hearing from our developers is that a lot of the degree programs are already established, either in the 2-year space or the 4-year space. But obviously there are some like niche elements around hydrogen, whether it's around the safety components. And it's just a matter of the colleges and universities ensuring that they have those additional pieces now added to their curricula.
Yeah. Okay. And for the audience watching, this is a topic we're going to be covering specifically at the end of the last day. There's a panel on building the future workforce. So for those of you specifically interested in that, please do join us for that. And Kate, one final question for you. So as a leader in academia and student support, you're well aware of the need for a skilled workforce, as we've discussed, to advance hydrogen technology. With the rapid pace of the hydrogen industry, do you think universities and educational institutions are doing enough to prepare students for these emerging sectors, or are we falling short? Are we falling behind getting the next generation of hydrogen professionals ready?
Yeah, I don't think we're there yet, but I think we're really adapting and changing to what we're hearing now from not just the hydrogen space, but other, especially other clean energy technologies. So one of the things that colleges and universities, I think, are starting to do a lot better is work together to understand how our programs can, from our 2-year schools can transition into our 4-year schools, and that we're not we're getting students ready in a time that's going to meet the demands of the industry. We're understanding, I think, the need to really reach back into high schools, right? And how are we preparing students there for this future energy workforce? And I think one thing that's really important is that what we're, even at our university, what we're hearing from industry about the skills that those workers need. And it's not just the technical skills, it's the non-technical skills, whether it be things like communication, and really helping students develop critical thinking skills and team building skills, because especially since the pandemic, when many students, were not in a classroom and working with other students. So we're really hearing that from the industry, the clean energy industry, as to how can we better prepare students to now enter that workforce and be adaptable, because like we talked earlier about how some jobs we may not even know what they are yet. So how are we preparing students to be adaptable, to be able to change within the environment whenever that's needed?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm sure it's not just something that's being felt in the hydrogen or energy industries. That's something that we're all working on and thinking about. Kate, I think that's all we got time for at the moment. But for the audience watching, if you want to hear more from Kate, she's going to be speaking in our masterclass on the 31st of March. So please do join us for that. Also, check out our other interviews with some of the other speakers. And on our website, you can see the full agenda and full lineup of speakers and topics. So thank you for joining us. Thank you again, Kate, for sharing your opinions. We're looking forward to hearing more from you at the event. Do you have any final remarks for the audience?
No, thank you for having me, and I'm looking forward to the event. I feel that these panels that are focused on communities and workforce, every time I join one or listen in on one, I feel that we're really making a lot of progress, and the Hydrogen Hubs program as a whole is really starting to work together to ensure that we really do have that workforce ready.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, well, that's the whole point of the event. We want to help everyone build it, and we're going to have as many stakeholders there as possible. So to everyone watching, hope to see you there in Houston, and thank you, Kate, once again.
Thank you.